From the very beginning, Ben Solo was a child cradled in the extraordinary love of a galaxy-renowned hero and a senator, a mother who had stared down empires, and an uncle who had become a living legend. He grew up in the light, surrounded by the warmth of Leia Organa's unwavering affection and Han Solo's gruff but undeniable devotion. His path seemed destined for greatness, for the continuation of a legacy of light and heroism. Yet, beneath this outwardly idyllic existence, a profound secret pulsed, a silent, ticking time bomb lodged at the very core of his family's history. It was a truth so devastating, so deeply intertwined with galactic trauma, that his mother, Leia, and his uncle, Luke Skywalker, felt they had no choice but to bury it. They never told Ben that his grandfather was Darth Vader, the embodiment of evil, the galaxy's most feared man, the very shadow against which they had all fought. Their intentions, as with so many parental decisions, were born of pure love and a desperate desire to protect. How could they burden an innocent child with such a monstrous lineage? How could they tell him that the blood of the galaxy's greatest villain coursed through his veins? They feared not only the galaxy's inevitable judgment, the whispers and the pointing fingers, but also Ben's own reaction, the potential for self-loathing, for confusion, for a darkness they couldn't possibly comprehend him bearing. They believed they were shielding him, safeguarding his spirit from a legacy that could crush him. And so, the secret became a heavy cloak, worn by Leia and Luke, a constant, unspoken weight in their interactions with the boy they adored. Every time Ben would demonstrate a flicker of the Force, a surge of power, a shadow of an uncontrolled emotion, a quiet anxiety would tighten in their chests. Was it merely a child's temper, or was it the echo of a terrible inheritance stirring? This fear, this unspoken burden, subtly shaped their approach to Ben's training, to his upbringing. They loved him fiercely, but perhaps that very fear, that desire to protect, also created a subtle distance, an uncrossable chasm of unspoken truth between them. The great irony, the heart-wrenching twist, lay in how this well-intentioned protection catastrophically backfired. The truth, as it often does, found a way to surface, but it didn't come from the loving, albeit fearful, lips of his mother or uncle. It came from the cold, impersonal channels of public record, of historical archives, of hushed whispers that grew into undeniable facts. Perhaps a forgotten data chip, a rediscovered holocron, or a historical document unearthed by a zealous researcher revealed the full, horrifying scope of Anakin Skywalker's transformation into Darth Vader, and more critically, his familial connection to the celebrated heroes of the New Republic. Imagine the crushing blow, the profound shock, the raw agony that must have ripped through Ben Solo. The heroes he revered, the family he trusted above all others, had not merely withheld a truth, they had, in his young, vulnerable mind, perpetrated a betrayal of the most intimate kind. The revelation wasn't just a historical fact, it was a personal devastation. It wasn't merely the identity of his grandfather that shattered him, but the stark realization that the people who claimed to love him most had kept such a monumental secret, fundamentally altering his perception of his own identity and his family's honesty. This wasn't a slow erosion of trust, it was an explosive detonation. The truth, when it arrived, felt like a deliberate lie, a deliberate manipulation. All the love, all the protection, suddenly felt like a cage, a deceptive shroud meant to control him. A wound opened in his soul, raw and bleeding, a chasm of resentment and profound distrust. And it was into this gaping wound, this emotional void, that the manipulative tendrils of Snoke, a proxy for the insidious Emperor Palpatine, expertly wove their way. Snoke didn't need to create the darkness within Ben, he merely needed to exploit the pain already festering there. He whispered insidious half-truths, validating Ben's sense of betrayal, painting Leia and Luke as fearful, weak, and ultimately dishonest. He preyed on Ben's burgeoning power and his deep-seated insecurities, offering him a twisted narrative of belonging, of a true legacy that lay not with the light, but with the raw power of his infamous grandfather. Snoke offered clarity where Ben felt confusion, purpose where he felt adrift, and validation for his rage. He didn't just turn Ben against his family, he leveraged the very love his family had for him and the protective actions born from that love as the ultimate weapon. He convinced Ben that his family's attempts to shield him were in fact attempts to diminish him, to deny his true strength, his true destiny. The story of Ben Solo's fall is a profound tragedy, a poignant reminder that even the most loving intentions can have devastating, unforeseen consequences when shrouded in secrecy. Leia and Luke sought to protect Ben from the shadow of Darth Vader, but by withholding the truth, they inadvertently created a deeper, more personal shadow, the shadow of betrayal. It was this shadow, not the one of the grandfather, that pushed him towards Snoke, towards the First Order, and ultimately towards becoming Kylo Ren. Their love, in its attempt to shield, became the very catalyst for his undoing. This complex tapestry of love, fear, and unintended consequences offers us a powerful lesson about the nature of truth, trust, and the profound impact of our family histories. It reminds us that sometimes the hardest truths, delivered with compassion, are ultimately kinder than the best-intentioned deceptions. What do you think about Leia and Luke's choices? Do you believe they could have handled it differently? Or were they truly caught between two impossible choices? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you found this exploration thought-provoking, please like this video and consider subscribing for more journeys into the heart of these compelling stories.